His triple-double is better than Steph's 3. Now that's sick when you think about it like that.
Would you say,
Damn.
Like, think of it like that. Best shooter in the world, like Steph's 3, that we know that damn near, we don't know what percentage he shoots, but it looked like it's 90% in a sense. Yeah. He has a better chance hitting a triple-double than Steph has hitting a 3.
Crazy, though.
we have now gotten to the point where we can watch Nikola Jokic have a triple-double, and we'll say, hey man, he just had a good game. And it doesn't get talked about, but we're just getting so used to, we're spoiled.
We are so scared of what Nikola Jokic might do on any given day that we numb ourselves to anything remotely human he does. That's who the Joker has become. Triple-doubles feel normal, dominant performances feel routine, and nights that would define other superstars barely make headlines when he does it. But it wasn't always like this. So let me take you back to how it was and the day it all changed. And also what that change meant for the NBA. Because there is a certain image that comes to mind when you think about an NBA superstar. You think of speed, explosiveness, verticality, and players who overwhelm you physically before anything else. You think of athletes who dominate the game with force and leave no doubt about what you're seeing. Nikola Jokic was never that. He does not run the floor like a guard, and he does not rise above defenders for highlight dunks. Instead, he does something far more unsettling. He learns what the NBA is, what it operates like, and how to break it. You see, Jokic was always dangerous. You just couldn't see it immediately. We all failed to notice until it was too late. And the Joker knew what he was this whole time.
I think he's a player that just knows who he is on that court.
As a result, there is no wasted motion or forced shots or unnecessary aggression. Just constant control over the pace, the spacing, and the decisions that define every possession. At first, that kind of dominance does not scare you because it doesn't look like dominance at all. And that is exactly why, when everything finally came together in one game, the entire league was forced to see it for what it really was. If you think you've got an edge on what's coming next, we are partnering with Kalshi, and they turn your predictions into possibilities. It's the first CFTC regulated exchange where you can trade yes-no event contracts on real-world questions, from inflation to major legislation to the next big breakout in entertainment. We all know Nikola Jokic is back to form even after his injury. His value to the Nuggets is unmatched. Like, if I wanted to trade for Nikola Jokic to be the MVP this year, I just go to my Kalshi app, navigate to the NBA awards, select the yes-no event for NBA MVP, place my trade amount, enter my birthday, and complete sign-up. And then, when the Joker wins, I get paid. Everyone has something they follow closely, whether it's markets, sports, politics, or pop culture. You do the research, you follow the trends, and you trust your instincts. Kalshi gives you a way to put that knowledge to work. Let's say you're convinced the Fed will raise rates, or you've got a gut feeling about who's taking Game 7 of the NBA Finals. On Kalshi, you can trade on those insights, turning your opinions into outcomes. And just like the NBA brings that tip-off to buzzer-beater intensity, Kalshi brings that same thrill to your insight. You're not sitting on the sidelines with an opinion, you're in the game. Over 1 million users have already joined, with more than $2 billion traded, and it's completely legal and regulated in all 50 states. These are real money markets where people like you are trading on what they believe will happen. And here's what makes Kalshi stand out. It even pays interest on long-term positions, meaning you can earn while you wait for an outcome to play out. Join Kalshi, the marketplace for people who don't just cheer from the stands, they trade what's next. Your prediction, your contract, your move. Head to Kalshi.com/hoopers and get $20 when you trade $20. Turn your "I've got a feeling" into action today. A huge shout out to Kalshi for partnering with us. Let me know in the comments what you traded and if you think your trade can win. It happened in 2017 in a game against the Milwaukee Bucks. At the time, there was nothing about this matchup that suggested it would mean anything beyond a regular night in the NBA. But Jokic had just stepped into a larger role for the Nuggets as Coach Malone had started losing faith in Jusuf Nurkic. Meanwhile, the Joker's confidence had been growing, and more importantly, his understanding of the game was reaching a completely different level. The reads were faster, the decisions were sharper, and the control he had over the floor that day was impossible to ignore.
Screen and roll with the Joker. Good bounce pass. Extra pass. Will Barton for three. Bam! Productive minutes for the Joker. And an interception. Count the steal. Long lead to Murray. And he puts it away. Jokic with 8 on the clock. And he dumps it to Wilson Chandler.
This was so difficult to process in real time because what we saw did not match anything the league had ever seen from a big man. He was bringing the ball up, reading the defense like a point guard, and delivering passes that seemed impossible unless you already knew where everyone was going to be. It looked like he had already solved the game before the possession even started. Before this, dominant big men controlled the game with power, size, and force. They imposed themselves physically and made their presence undeniable. Jokic did the exact opposite.
Obviously, it's a very unique style of basketball. And his vision is amazing. He's an amazing playmaker. He's the type of guy that, like, if you mess up a defensive coverage, he's gonna find it and expose it.
He's so smart in the game. His IQ is off the charts. Even playing against him in the playoffs, it felt like he was coaching. Like, he's like the coach on the court.
He controlled the game with timing, angles, and decisions. He let the defense collapse on its own mistakes and punished it without ever looking like he was trying to take over. And that is what made this performance so unsettling, because this was the crazy game that NBA players started to fear Nikola Jokic. And from that point on, the conversation around him could never go back to what it was before. But speaking of conversation, there's more going on in our basketball community. But don't just watch, be a part of it. Join our membership today and get early access to videos and level up with discounted merch. Anyway, after that game against the Bucks, something shifted. While there was no dramatic headlines or instant declarations that Nikola Jokic had arrived as the next face of the league, the tone around the Joker's name changed. And slowly, what started as confusion began to turn into respect.
Just take a moment to talk about Nikola Jokic making a joke out of the NBA every night.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I was literally just talking to my good friend Jared Dudley right before we jumped on here. I was just like, this guy is ridiculous. He was like, yeah, he's ridiculous.
When someone like Steve Nash says that, it carries a different kind of weight. This is a man who understood offense at the highest level, someone who built a career on efficiency, decision-making, and control. And even he is looking at Jokic like this should not be possible. Because what Jokic was doing wasn't just working, it was breaking the logic of how the game was supposed to be played. And the more players faced him, the harder it became to deny what was happening. And just leave it to Anthony Edwards to tell you how it is.
Nikola Jokic, bro. Oh my God, he might be the best basketball player I've ever seen, like close up, besides myself to myself. Bro, he's incredible, bro. The MVP race is tough, man. I don't know. He had 60. That was crazy.
That reaction came from experience. It came from guarding him, trying to figure him out, and realizing that every adjustment you make is already part of his plan. It comes from the understanding that no matter how well you think you're playing defensively, he is always one step ahead. And what's crazy is, when a player can control the game without speeding up, without forcing shots, and without showing any visible strain, it creates a different kind of fear. One that builds slowly and then overwhelms you before you even realize it. And then we just try to numb it down like it's nothing. But sometimes it's just too hard to do that, even for the critics.
I will remind everybody that Jokic the other night went up against Victor Wembanyama and dropped 40. 40.
So where does all this lead? Well, since Nikola Jokic is nothing like the superstars we're used to in the NBA, can he really be a superstar? Or should he be called something else? Maybe an anti-superstar? Would love to read your thoughts on that. But seriously, what the Joker is doing is different. You see, Nikola Jokic isn't just dominating games, he is quietly rewriting what dominance even looks like. Like, think about it. He isn't even isolating defenders and breaking ankles every possession. And yet, he was controlling everything that's happening on the court. Every possession flows through him, but never sticks to him. Every decision he makes is the right one, but never forced. And more importantly, everyone in the system is better because of him.
He makes the right play every time. You know, that's what's great about him is he doesn't force anything. You know, everything is going to be the right play. He's going to make the right reads. It's like a quarterback out there. I consider him like a Tom Brady. You know, he's going to always pick you apart and make the right reads.
You know, maybe the league had the wrong idea of greatness all along. Maybe being a superstar was never about how explosive you are or how flashy you look, but about how completely you can control a game without forcing anything. And that's exactly why that game against the Bucks mattered so much. Because it wasn't just the night players started to notice Jokic, it was the night they realized they might not be able to stop him. Not because he overwhelms you, but because he understands the game better than you do. And once that realization sets in, then you have no choice but to fear him. Nikola Jokic didn't become feared because he changed who he was. He became feared because the league finally understood what he already was. A player with no elite speed, no vertical dominance, no flashy style, and yet he controls the game better than anyone on the floor. So when you really look at it, that game against the Bucks in 2017 wasn't just a breakout moment. It was the moment the NBA realized the definition of a superstar had changed. And if you want to see another moment like this, where one game changed everything for a player, watch the game that made NBA players fear Steph Curry next.